So, what's up to all my YouTuber friends in the YouTube world? This is a long overdue conversation about Lolo Jones because recently she decided to get IVF treatments. We have to talk about how she came to this point. First of all, let's look at some of her accomplishments, okay? She's 40 years old, as we know. It says she was the first woman to ever claim the back-to-back world indoor titles in the 60-meter hurdles, while setting an American record in the process. Jones finished her career at LSU as a 3-time national champion and 11-time All-American, where she ranks among the top 3 all-time at LSU in both 60-meter and 100-meter hurdles. So basically, she's a hurdler, so to speak. But the unfortunate part is she's not able to hurdle over some of the issues that's going on in her life. And particularly, this has to do with men, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be honest with you guys. At first, I didn't even know who she was. But what let me know who she was is when ESPN mentioned the fact that she was basically teasing Jalen. Was it Jalen? Jalen Rose about his injury. So for Halloween, she dressed up as Jalen Rose, and I remember that. She had tweeted showing a picture of herself injured as Jalen Rose. So that's how I discovered who Lolo Jones was. But let me say this: her issues have been this way because, one, she put her pressure on herself, saying that she was a virgin. So I'm a virgin. So now, in the media and in years ahead of time, she had to live up to this quote unquote standard of living up to being a Christian and a virgin and things like that, of that nature. So it's been very difficult to deal with living up to that. I mean, she's accomplished that, but where did he get her? I mean, because at this point she's a 40-year-old virgin, and even she joked about it in her mid-30s. I'll end up with a 40-year virgin. But guess what? You shouldn't have spoke that into existence. And dudes aren't willing to wait for her to get up off that thing. Like James Brown said, they aren't willing to wait. But not just that, y'all. If you look into her childhood history, you'll see exactly why she's been making the mistakes she's been making. She talked about growing up in Iowa, if I make no mistake, and how her childhood was rough. She had to live in this place on this stage. I think it was like Salvation Army somewhere, on a stage, and like maybe a basement type looking situation. And also they were stealing food. You know what I'm saying? So her father went to prison for like I think maybe a total of 12 years, I think he said, or something like that. And he had horrible vehicles. They'd always break down. So her dad and her ran to the house in order to stay warm while it was cold. Things like that. So, she had a rough childhood growing up. I mean, I understand because, growing up in Oklahoma, my father, he was in and out the house too. And plumbing was bad. We had to get like these 40-gallon buckets. And as a kid, you know what I'm saying, I look kind of buff for my age, and people always wonder why we were so strong. It was because we had to carry 40-gallon garbage gallons tubs up the street to get water because the plumbing was so bad. So we grew up pretty rough too, on food stamps as well. My dad wasn't always around, so he just wasn't a family guy like that. But I understand. But her situation stems with a racial aspect, okay? And her preference is toward anybody else but black, unless they have a lot of money, And you're like, you're probably saying, well, why is it racial? Ask Lolo. Her childhood, the way she saw her father, in her mind, she identified a black man with struggle. Look how she carries herself, right? On a typical day. She wears blonde hair all the time. Her hair is naturally like a sandy brownish blonde, but it's not blonde like how she has her hair. Racism has a lot to do with this, people, whether we like it or not. And being pulled over by a cop or being called the N-word is just not enough. She identified being black with struggle because she had to struggle. You know, and we as black folks, we get caught up in these ideas of, oh, well, there's no racism, but racism does exist. You know what I'm saying? And it affects us to the point we want to be anything else but ourselves. And don't just let me tell you what racism is. I'll let somebody else tell you.
Could you begin by stating what your perspective is about the existence of racism? Just talk about what it is.
I agree with the principle, the theory, the principle that racism is prejudice plus power. I had a conversation yesterday with a black man and he said that he knew some of his people who were racist, and I talked with him about that, because without the power to take that prejudice and actively place it into position to cause people to do or not do, then it is simply just prejudice. And I believe that, so that's the premise from which I come, that racism, you have to have that power in order for there to be racism. And most white people would look at me and say, I don't have any power. But we do have power. We have power just getting up in the morning and looking in the mirror and not having to think about race. That places us into a position to where our minds are clear and that it's a problem that we don't have to deal with. We don't think about it because we don't have to think about it. It's not something that completely controls our lives. So there, from the very beginning, when we wake up in the morning, then we have an advantage, and that advantage comes from the color of the skin. When we go into a store and we're not assumed that we're going to be a shoplifter simply because of the color of our skin, that is an advantage. When I walk down the street and I'm more safe, now that's not saying nothing would happen ever to me, but I would be more safe walking down the street alone than you would be. That is racism, because of that unequal playing field that's there, that gives me advantage simply because of the color of my skin. Then that's what's wrong.
So if you look at Lolo Jones' type of dudes that she dates, she usually dates white men who are athletes. I think she may even dated some dude who looked like part Asian. I probably have a picture up here, screenshot a picture. But yeah, she doesn't really date black men. I mean, you know, it just is what it is. I think there was this girl who got into an argument with Lolo talking about the show that she was on. I don't know if it was called The Contender or whatever the show is called. How they got into an argument about race and all that good stuff. But these are the men that she's picking, right? And I'm not trying to come down on white people, but white men don't prefer black women like that. No offense. White men usually like white women, or now the thing is, because of what American women are doing, they're preferring Mexican or even Asian women. And these men in America are changing it up. You know what I mean? It's the dating realm is just, oh my God, it's filled with people who are traumatized mentally, and people are going overseas in order to, or outside their nationality, to try to find what they feel is considered domestic. and willing to submit to whatever needs and desires that these people want. And that's delusion. But it all deals with inner self, and these people aren't willing to do what they're supposed to do in order to change themselves and hopefully find a partner who can mirror that. But unfortunately, these people are about me instead of we, and let me fix my inner self. So that's the illusion that we're facing. So Lolo, I'm not saying she hit the wall, but I'm saying, look, you put yourself up to a standard of being a Christian and a virgin that's very hard to live up to, saying you're going to get married, not even knowing that sex is marriage. That's one. So you have a misinterpretation of what your philosophical teaching of religion is.
God is up there somewhere, keeping notes on all of us.
Now, I don't believe that there's somebody sitting in the sky with his feet propped up on top of the world called God. I believe that God is the presence of good that is within each individual person, whether he knows it or not. The presence of God, the presence of all good, the potential of good is within each individual and not in the sky somewhere. I usually say, when you find the heaven that is within you, then you will find yourself in heaven. Not until then, because heaven and hell are both states of mind. When a person is in a very doubtful and negative state of mind, he's always going to catch hell. But when the individual finds the heaven, the harmony, the God, the good, the love that is resident in his own being, then he begins to experience heaven. We are taught that either God or the devil are responsible for what happens to us. I teach that the individual is responsible for his condition. The responsibility for our lives does not lie with some deity in the sky, but it lies with the God power within each one of us.
And then you don't really date the people who look like you. You know what I mean? You don't really identify with that like that. So it makes it very difficult for you to do what you need to do. But let's read this, because this is what I want to get to. So she says, tonight I blocked the guy I was talking to for 8 months. My heart just couldn't take it anymore. He gave me so many mixed signals. He would talk about marriage and kids, but then keep me in the friend zone. He would never make time to see me. My heart is so heavy. I'm so exhausted. Dating life. I've continually asked God to honor me with a godly man. I prayed for years, and with many tears for God, please to allow me to find my husband. I even prayed, if God didn't want me to be married, to remove the desire from my heart. But as the years grow, I want to be married more and desire badly to have a family of my own. And I just keep getting my heart broke. I get teased all the time because I won't have premarital sex. Guys will DM me that I'm old, I'm washed up, I should just put out already. So I'm just crying out, where are you, God? Your word says, John 14:14, if you ask me anything in my name, I will do it. I'm asking God to please honor the desire of myself, or should I say of my heart. Your word says 2 are better than 1. Ecclesiastes 4:9-12. I'm just asking God to honor my heart, because faith is hurting right now. I'm tired of getting teased. I'm asking God, my Father, my protector, my provider, please show up. Please honor me. Sweetie, if you only knew that God is within. God is consciousness. The Creator created all things, of course, but He gave you a consciousness to create your own reality, and that you are the living expression of Him projecting itself out to the world. If you only knew that reality, and unfortunately you don't, but you know the simple concepts of what God is, which is nothing wrong with that. And if you understood that you have to change your mindset in order to change your reality, I promise you, you will get even further. You've achieved a lot of stuff, specifically financially and career-wise. You achieved those things because you hit rock bottom when you were a child, and you don't want to go back to that certain lifestyle, which I understand. You don't want to date a regular dude because you don't want to go back down to that lifestyle, but you're a Lolo Jones. You're always going to have a job, especially daytime job. Like I seen you on television. You're a daytime chick. You can you have the look. It's Eurocentric. You know what I'm saying? It's easy on the eyes. You can pull it off. You can pass, in other words. But the decisions you're making to have life partners is what's destroying you. Change your preference. Get you a good black man out there who's willing to accept you for who you are. Because that's exactly what you need. You're running away from what you should have. And I'm not speaking down to any other nationality out there. I'm just seeing a sister out here who is running away from who she is. That's what it looks like to me. Because she sees who she is, who she was, I should say, so to speak, as struggle. And that's just not always the scenario. Change your whole outlook on how you see black men and find you a good one. One who is quote unquote God-fearing, who will wait for you to get married. Me, shoot, I've waited, the longest I've waited with my ex-fiance, I waited a whole year before we even had any form of intercourse. I waited a whole year. That was I almost married her. If her dad and her family wouldn't have messed it up, I almost married her. But it is what it is. So I'm going to show you guys this too as well.
I really want a family. I've waited for my husband for so many years, and I'm just getting mad, and I'm about to turn 40. There's a lot of stress on me right now.
I know it's all you've got to just be strong. And it's a fight just to keep it together. I know you think that you are too far.
Blood work came back normal. Hormone levels are normal. So we're gonna proceed with the process of building these eggs.
Hold on,
Did a double injection.
don't let go.
I actually have another injection.
Hey, hold on, don't let go.
If science is what it takes in order for you to get this child, then fine, cool, whatever. Nothing against that. But it's just unfortunate, right? You know, I hate that for her. And what really bothers me is the comments coming down on her a certain way, because I'm not going to add to that. But I will suggest, you know, changing it up, because her preference is destroying her as a person. It's not God or anybody else. It's just she has learned a certain lifestyle and a certain mindset that she's stuck in. And it's almost like she can't get out. And now that she's 40, is she willing to change that mindset? Because it's very hard to, you know, to show people a different perspective and for them to see the truth. It's very hard for them to open up to a new reality or new information, especially when they're stuck in that. Like me, I believe in Jesus not as a literal figure, but as a spiritual representation, you know, of how we should walk, you know. And I had a problem with my ex-girlfriend with that, you know what I mean? She believed in Jesus, I didn't, not as a literal being, but I believed in the concepts that he taught and how I should live as that type of person, a Jesus figure, and that should be emanating from me spiritually on a spiritual level. But I mean, some things we just believe in that can destroy us, you know, it can make or break us. But her, she's not willing to settle for less, and she sees being black as struggle. And I accept that reality of Lolo Jones. I mean, nothing to it, you know, but racism played a factor in that growing up. And her father wasn't around all the time, unfortunately. I mean, it is what it is. But Lolo, change your mindset. Change who you're going to be with. Open yourself up to something new. And it don't have to be no basketball player or a baseball player, a professional player. You already know they're liable to cheat on you. Get you a regular dude. You said you did it before. What's changing now? Get you a good black man that's going to treat you right, who believes in what you believe. And I guarantee you, you two's relationship will work out perfectly fine. And not only that, if a man is in a position of power, he elevates a woman. If a woman has a man and she's in a position of power, she should be elevating that man. So if it's a regular dude like me who works at the post office, right? There's no reason why you can't I'm not expecting you to, but I'm saying if you have a position to make somebody more seen and they can rise up and even maybe make more money than you to where you don't have to struggle, do that. Because a woman is supposed to be supporting a man, you know, pushing him to even have even more greatness and the potential that he didn't realize he had within himself. That's what I love about women. Women do that for men. So with that being said, you guys, watch, talk, and act. Oh yeah, don't forget $100 giveaway. $100 giveaway. So like, comment, subscribe, and when I reach 100 subscribers, that's when I'll do a $100 giveaway, and I'll put the video of the drawing up, and I will also announce it, and it'll be on the next video that hits up to 100 subscribers. So right now we're at 86. So don't forget, fam, like, comment, subscribe, please. I'm asking. I'm not gonna tell people what to do. That's just not right. So if you could, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I hope you enjoyed this video. But ultimately, this comes down to a racial thing, and it's a preference. So it is what it is. Lolo Jones, take it easier on yourself. Find who you want. And to all my viewers, find the person who loves you. If you're single, if you're married, keep being happy. But anyway, watch, talk, and act. Don't just act people. Create solutions. Peace.